There it is.
Oh, and there we go. We're live. We are live on it's interesting. We've kind of come full circle in a way. We are Tuesday dreaming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because we were Tuesday, weren't
I
we?
think it was Tuesday, wasn't it? That was our initial the day that we did everything.
Yeah.
Tuesday. I mean, we did it late at night, right? And
Right.
I'm not doing that anymore. And I don't think we were live streaming on YouTube back then either, and now we are. So we are
That's
Tuesday morning, or in my neck of the woods, afternoon dreaming now is
Yeah.
what the show is happening today.
It's afternoon dreaming. Okay.
Yeah, that's, I guess. So, hey everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm just sharing this to, we're just taking a second and sharing our live stream around. So as you jump on, give us a comment, let you know you're jumping on, and give the video a like and a share. If you're on YouTube and you come across it, click that subscribe button to notify you and let you know every time we go live, or have a new video up, because we post things relatively often. And so welcome to the Dream Show, a show where we try and answer the questions that you have about the things that go bump in the night.
In the night.
In the internally bump in the night, I guess, because we're talking about dreams. And, I guess, and externally, because we've got some strange experiences that hound us sometimes. Yeah, and people have questions.
Yours are more strange than mine, I think.
Yeah, well, neither one of us hold a candle to my wife. She's got some really strange night experiences.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. So great to see Karen jumping on. Yeah, good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Karen.
Yeah. And we're live on
at least in Florida, I can say good morning.
Yeah, you could still say good morning. And in the Panhandle, you can say good morning. Yeah, that's right. The rest of Florida, you can't. Well, I guess you still could.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you still
that's
can.
right. That's true. Yeah, all of Florida.
Yes, that's true. I should say I'm in Central Time Zone, Florida.
Yes. Yeah. So great to see everybody as they're jumping on. Normally we go live on the last Friday of each month.
We normally do.
But here's the deal.
But there's not much normal about us. So
no. Well, and here's the deal about summer vacation with multiple children. Your schedule tends to go out the window.
True.
So yes. So the kids start school on Thursday. So we'll be back more to a normal rhythm. And so some of you have followed the podcast my dad and I have been doing about going through inner healing, looking at the brain and all of that. And you've noticed that we haven't put a new episode up for 3 or 4 weeks now, and that's partly has to do with the schedule just being all over the place because of the summer. So kids, sports and activities and all that. And we're a 1-car family, so that can make it a bit difficult. So anyway, we're getting back to a normal schedule going into the fall. So hopefully, anyway, a little more normal.
Well, that's weird because I'm a no-kid family and I have 3 cars. So
yeah, I don't know what you're doing over there.
I guess I haven't shared the wealth. I guess
you haven't. No, send one of them our way.
You got to have that share the wealth card.
Yeah,
you get,
yeah, that's right.
Game of life.
Right. Yes. So, good to see everybody. Though the Dream Show, just for those of you that are just tuning in, what we do here is we take your questions about dreams, visions, and we try and interpret your dreams. And so what we ask you to do is post in the comments your questions and your dreams, the visions that you've had, and we're also asking you to post the shorter ones, not the longer ones. Helpful. And what we want to do is go through our process of breaking something down and show you how we come to some kind of conclusion. So we talk through it with you rather than just interpreting as many as possible. Because we want to help you understand the process of thinking biblically about.
And just for people, so we teach dream interpretation as well.
Yep.
And one of the things we do when we teach dream interpretation is we teach dream interpretation from a what we would call Hebrew Christian Bible perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a spiritual approach to dreaming, but a very particular spiritual approach to dreaming. So it's
Yeah,
not just
because then
generalized spiritual approach to
yeah,
dreaming.
now we got to talk about let's go through the history of worldviews and what
Yeah,
we mean
yeah,
when we say
yeah. But
spiritual and yeah,
yeah, exactly. But
yeah,
um, one of the things we do is we break down the dreams we find in early literature. So people are familiar with the dreams of Joseph and the dreams, of various different individuals in Hebrew scriptures, and we find those to be really fascinating,
yeah,
helpful in understanding how what a spiritual approach to dreaming looks like and why. You, you know, you, People wonder things. One of the things we point out is in Joseph's dreams, as he tells them to his brothers and his parents and
right,
all that kind of stuff, that they got what he was saying immediately.
yeah,
How many times have somebody has said, I had a dream, and they tell you tell your friends or somebody or your family, and they have no clue what in the world you're talking about.
yeah,
Like,
but
that's
they've
interesting.
been very impacted by, I had this dream. I
Yes.
don't know. I woke up
Right.
crying, or I woke up with this
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
huge emotion.
But
And
we don't have a common understanding of dreams in our current culture.
that's right.
Where
That's true. Yeah,
when I tell you a dream, you just say, "Oh yeah, I get that." So that's why we break these dreams down, is because
right.
we have to, in our culture, go back to a place of learning to understand dreams, because we've gotten away from that skill set of
Yeah, that's right.
understanding dreams. So uh, can we learn things from our dreams? Absolutely. Can we get insights into life and into the culture around us and our own way of looking at the world personally through our dreams? Absolutely. But it's very helpful to understand how our dreams work,
That's right.
and
That's right.
that's a learning process in our culture, because we've stepped away from understanding dreams, and not every culture on the face of the planet today has done that. But as Western culture, we certainly have.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, Dad. I've been reading a book just kind of on and off a little bit, taking it in bite-sized chunks. And it's written by an Eastern Orthodox monk named Archimandrite George, I think, is an elder on the Mount Athos, which is the Orthodox. Um, that's where everybody goes for the monastic tradition there.
Yeah.
You guys, if you've hung around Wind for any length of time, that I like studying the lives of the monastic routines and everything.
By the way, hello to
Yeah,
Missouri.
great to see Jim. Yeah, yeah. Not to say that we necessarily agree with everything, um, that some of these guys write, but we find a lot of what they say inspiring about the life of faith and knowing God. Anyway, I've been reading this book called Theosis, I think it's called The True Human Purpose. Anyway, and in the early church fathers, the concept of theosis is the life of transformation and becoming like God.
Right.
And that's it. It's much more complicated and nuanced than that, but that's essentially what the term means.
Theo being God. Also, this is the practice of things happening in
Yes,
the direction.
exactly. Yes. So there's a whole lot of things to say there, but so this is um, anyway. He makes a point
Yeah.
that in certain circles, the aim of pastoral care and guidance is theosis, transformation into the image of God, or the likeness of God. They would say we made his image, and we're transformed by grace to his likeness. That's what they
Back
would
into
say.
his image, right?
Yeah. So that's the concept of theosis, becoming like him. Um, and so the author, he makes this point where he says, great to see Ingrid jumping on, where he says in certain circles, he's thinking of the Eastern Church, the point of everything is theosis, and he says in Western Christianity it seems the aim is moral perfection.
It's true.
And that, which is true.
Yeah.
and I was thinking even more so, it just made me think, right? It made me pause and go, you know what? The aim of Western Christianity is moral perfection, but even more baseline to that, the understanding of salvation. Actually, I was just listening to N.T. Wright talk about this in the course on Galatians. N.T. Wright, he talks about how in Western Christianity, our aim is salvation, like being saved for for heaven.
Yeah.
Right. This is salvation means getting to the afterlife.
An end result from something to another place.
Yes.
Right.
So we have in Western Christianity this aim of moral perfection, escaping the world to be
because the
preserved
world
for heaven.
is morally corrupt. We have to go to a
Yes.
place that's morally perfect.
Yes, exactly.
And the world can't be ever redeemed.
Yes.
Therefore,
yes. But if you go back,
no, I don't believe those things, by the way. But
yes, if you go back to the earliest authors, the aim was not to, be saved from this world and get to heaven. That wasn't the aim.
right.
The aim was to be transformed, and that this world would be transformed.
Right.
Right. So
Back
I was thinking
to its original
exactly.
purpose. Right.
Yeah. And humanity recapturing its original purpose.
Right.
We talk a little bit about this in the Wind Ministries podcast. And so I'm thinking about this going, when our aim is either salvation means getting to heaven, and or usually appended to that is moral perfection, right? Don't
right. So that
get
you're
angry.
so you qualify.
Yeah, so you qualify. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Then dreams and visions and the kind of things that we talk about become far less important because, well, why would you need a dream to get into heaven?
Right.
Why would you need a dream to practice moral perfection?
Moral
right.
perfection is all about my choice.
It's about my choices, right? It's will-based.
Making myself,
Yes.
willing myself to go a particular direction.
So when that's what's taught and believed by, much of Western Christianity, the evangelical church anyway, then we find no value for rhythms of prayer and things like this because, but I've said the prayer, I'm saved, now I just have to act right.
It's not about me getting closer. It's about me getting more perfect. Yes.
So the aim in early church authors and frankly in other Christian traditions, the aim is not moral perfection, salvation into heaven as a means to get into heaven. The aim is union with God, with the Father, right? And when that's the case, now all of a sudden dreams are a means for me to increasingly get there. Right? Visions are a means for me to increasingly get there. And it's interesting that when Jesus says, Murray and I have been talking about this on the Voices from the Desert podcast, the other podcast we do, that when Jesus says, when you pray, he doesn't give you forms or sentences primarily. He says, when you pray, go into your secret place, and the Father who is in secret and sees in secret will reward you openly. So the whole genesis of Jesus's teaching on prayer is encountering the Father in that secret place of union with him, right? It's all about encounter, the practical experience and the presence of God.
Well, and maybe even more than just being about encounter, it's about the restoration of relationships.
Yes.
So sin, we always talk about sin separating us from God.
Yeah.
But and I'm sorry I had to use the word sin, but I said it. But the big sin or separation of humanity from its creator is that we choose another way.
Yeah, that's right.
And the restoration of humanity is to be back in right relationships. And this is a thing that when you're only dealing with moral perfection or moral acceptance, then you're not addressing the lack or the breakdown of relationships, human to human and human to creator. And when we're not restoring those relationships, we're simply continuing the practice of violence and neglect and all of those sorts of things. And so if salvation only looks like moral perfection, my personal moral perfection, and I need to work on that myself. It's a private thing. I work on that myself. You leave me alone and let me work on my moral perfection so that I can get to heaven.
Yeah.
But if the essence of what we're looking at is relationships that are put back together again so that we learn to love, we learn to connect with one another, and we learn to reconnect with our creator, which is what John in his first epistle is so well describing what it looks like to make your life be about restoring the relationships that are at its core.
That's right.
So that I live and work out of the restoration of relationship. Right. And if I go that direction, dreams are going to have a significant play in how my relationships become restored, because the things that I ponder during the day, why am I disconnected from this person? Why is this relationship not working out? Why are these things at work not happening correctly?
Right.
Why is my life not working the way it is?
Right.
So often in our dreams, we get insight into how to restore relationships that we didn't have before.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's salvation.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. And we have to see it as that, right? Salvation is the journey of becoming like him and knowing him and being healed into union with him. And that's, we've like our aim has just been off for a long time in Western Christianity. And there's good things about what has been taught in that regard. I'm not denigrating all of it, but in this particular area, we've really missed the purpose.
I think so. I mean, and you're right. I mean, we're not trying to sever relationships because we don't agree.
Yeah. And then we need dreams to heal that anyway. So,
yeah.
But that's why we become.
Thank you for the comments, Susan. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Susan, good to see you jumping on. If you guys have dreams or questions, please comment. If you don't have dreams, then this will be a pretty short show. So
yeah, you don't have dreams. You're just going to hear us talking. So,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is guys talking. There we go.
Yeah, there's Susan there. Before we get to Susan's, there's that's one of the things that we like about the life model guys, right? That there's a number of ministries that we really like. I love that. We'll get to Ingrid's question in just a second.
That's a good question.
It is a really good question. I like engaging with people that help me think deeply on these things, and N.T. Wright is one of them. Great to see Berta on, and the life model guys are as well. I think you handed me a book about 10 years ago when I was really struggling in a particular relationship with rejection and pain in that relationship. I was very frustrated with this good friend of mine. And you said, hey, read this book. And it was Living from the Heart Jesus Gave You. This will give you good language to try and articulate what you're experiencing. I remember you said that. And great to see Nancy jumping on. Lynn, it's awesome. It has been a while, Lynn. Good to see you on. So anyway, that book was really helpful for me in terms of that healing journey and being able to articulate those things. Now, we kind of in this space, we kind of go, well, let's incorporate dreams into this whole process. But what also strikes me about the life model guys is how some of their key members have storied history in the charismatic church, right? In the charismatic move. Yeah, they really do. So anyway, you were talking about, you wanted to mention your goal of using that book for something, Dad.
Well, I think that it's a helpful book in learning to walk into maturity.
Yeah, for sure.
And why is that even important, right? Because the vast majority of people that we know, I'm talking about all of us together as we're talking, are probably not all that mature.
Right.
And it's, and you can, when I first read through some of this stuff on the stages of maturity, the things. And every one of them, we've talked about this on our podcast,
Yeah.
and you can go back and look at this.
Wind Ministries podcast. Go take a look at it. Yeah.
But there are stages of brain development that correlate with character and maturity development.
Yeah.
And when things don't happen for someone that are necessary to move us into the next place, then our brains don't fully develop in the way they're supposed to.
That's right.
And our maturity doesn't fully develop at that stage.
That's right.
And then we end up going into the next stage with things lacking.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
absolutely.
And if that never gets resolved, we end up with adults that are acting like children. And they do that because
just look at politics.
We do that because that's our natural way of doing things, because we're stinted in our development and in our maturity. Yeah. So living from the heart. And so what I was going to say is, when I first started going through that stuff, I looked at the list. I'd read through the list. If these things are lacking, this is what happens. And doggone it, if I didn't go through this list and say, dang, me. Oh, yeah, there's one. Right. That's mine. Yeah. That's mine. But the beautiful thing about it is that you look at it and you say, okay, these are things I need to address. Yeah. I need to work on these, so that whatever is hindering me because I'm lacking in this area, let's let the Spirit of God come in to this area of my life and help me to grow and mature, so that I can catch up in the things that I've not been able to catch up in. And it really is, it's a process. It takes time. Maturity takes time anyway. But it's really certainly worth doing. And so Living from the Heart Jesus Gave You is a book where 5 different people that are dealing and addressing people's life situations came together and wrote a book addressing what it looks like to live the way Jesus called us to live, and to grow into maturity.
Yep.
And it's a book I love reading, and I'm going to be doing a book discussion on it. We'll read through and do a discussion on it this year for those that are interested.
Yeah, we're going to host a book club.
Yeah.
And most likely
all that to get to this fact that saying
that's right.
We're going to do a book club.
Most likely we'll host it through the Wind Training Academy, just to make it simple. So if that's something that intrigues you, shoot my dad a message on Facebook, and just let him know that you're interested in that, so we can put you on the list, the short list, and we'll have more information coming out pretty soon. My dad was telling me about that.
Address time frames and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And it's a needed thing to help people think through. Again, when the aim is moral perfection and salvation means making it to heaven, we miss this large gap called life.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right.
What do I do in between?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And
so, here's this part over here. Here's this part over here.
Yeah.
What do I do about that gap in between where I'm living? Yeah.
That's right. Well, that's right. Now, well, I know I was born and I know I'll die, but I really don't know how to live. Right. Yeah.
It'll all be better when I get to heaven.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So, and again, it's one of the things that we try and do with the Dream Show also is help people navigate those types of things. Right. So let's look at Ingrid's question quickly.
Okay.
Right here. I was told by a certain pastor not to rely on my dreams.
Right.
But I just can't ignore it. My dreams and visions come to pass almost on a daily basis. And this is a bit of what we're talking about. And not to, I have a great respect for people in pastoral ministry and the difficulty of pastoral ministry.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to speak against a certain pastor that
you shouldn't listen to that.
You shouldn't listen
to that. That's not
what
we're trying to say at all.
Right. No, that's not what we're trying to say. Absolutely not. So I'm not saying that. Just looking at the kind of the culture that we can address the fact that I think I was chatting with a good friend of mine who leads a network of about 500 to 1,000 pastors, and he was talking about the statistic that is kind of making its way around. I think it's been true probably for the past 20 or 30 years that it's like every week or every month there's like 1,700 pastors who retire or resign from pastoring. And it's just astronomical, right? How many people are just going, forget about this. And so part of that, part of the conversation we were having, and I think we were diagnosing this, and part of that is because some people get involved in pastoral ministry because that's just the thing you do if you're passionate about Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it might not be the thing.
What do you do? If I want to go further in my Christian,
go to seminary, get trained, become a pastor. Right. There's not a lot of nuance for the call of God being expressed through your life. Right. And so on one sense, answering Ingrid's question, there's a bigger cultural problem in, some of these guys that end up in pastoral ministry really shouldn't be in pastoral ministry.
Yeah.
Right. They're probably called to some kind of something, but we just don't have nuance to express that in a lot of organizations and a lot of denominations. So that's a particular problem, right? The other one is sometimes this is just when people go through training, this is what they've been taught, is that dreams aren't important. And so you get leaders that they are. I mean, when in John Paul's course, Understanding Dreams and Visions, there's a quote from I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of the Bible dictionaries. It's a very common dictionary. And it said, and this quote was true up through the 90s. It said in the Bible dictionary, this dictionary said, or commentary said, you shouldn't ever listen to dreams. They're only the ramblings of crazy people, basically, right? I'm summarizing it. Yeah. Now that commentary doesn't say that anymore. But that is what it said for a long time. That was the through line of a lot of pastoral training programs. Is dreams are at best unimportant, at worst totally misleading. So now we've got maybe people are expressing the call in wrong ways, maybe, or in ways that aren't helpful. We've got training programs that don't help pastors understand how to actually care for the people. We've got pastors that are overworked, so the nuance of dealing with one person who has dreams is very difficult. So we just give pat answers. Yeah. So my point is, Ingrid, and for people that are listening that have found themselves in similar theological positions, is that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. So it just means the person doesn't have the framework for helping you, and that's fine, right? That's totally fine, because there's other people that do have the framework for helping you. And for Ingrid, she's found our dream show. Ingrid's been hanging out for a long time. She's part of our Facebook group, and she's taken some of our classes. So that's good. You found some people that see you, know you, and hear you, and go, yeah, this is good. And so I wouldn't blame your pastor or any pastor, because there's a lot of factors at play.
Right.
And just in my cynical side, frankly, Western Christianity is such a mess right now, that just follow God and try and look like him in your everyday basis, and don't pay attention to what everybody else says.
Well, and ask yourself the question: did people in biblical times pay attention to their dreams and visions?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. So pay attention to your dreams and visions.
Yeah, and
you'll be biblical.
There is now, Jim, I've opened a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
So there are one last thing for Ingrid. There are pastoral concerns that are I've had people come to me and tell me that their dream is telling them that they're to divorce their spouse and marry their pastor, who's married with multiple kids. That's happened to me.
Yeah.
And then people have told this particular situation I'm thinking of, that person then told the pastor that I told her that's what her dream meant.
Yeah.
right? Like people do this
Well,
stuff,
no matter
right?
what you say, they're going
Doesn't
to
matter
say what
what you.
they
Then
want to
that
believe
pastor
it.
calls me and he's like, "Did you say this?" I'm no, I absolutely did not say this. I would never say that. You know, I wouldn't say that. I knew this pastor quite well, and he's like, "I didn't think so. I just wanted to check with you." So that stuff happens to pastors and to leaders, right?
Right.
And so there's always that. Sometimes that's sitting in the back of the mind of a pastor is, oh, not another crazy one, right?
Yeah.
And that's not fair, but I can understand.
I understand it. Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Jim, just a quick answer to that is the position of pastor, as we understand it today, structurally, is probably a season at a time. You do it, and then you retire, or however you do that. The functionality of pastoring people, of being someone who is concerned over the welfare of others, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, we could say it this way. I think this is the language that we've been using, is in some of the leadership networks I'm involved with. And I think I find it helpful, Jim, for answering this question. And what you said, Dad, the call, quote unquote, the call, which takes a whole lot of explaining what a call is, because there's lots of problems with how people think about that. The call is not to be a pastor of a church. The call is God's called you to be pastoral with people. Right, so that's a particular frame of life that says that person's never not going to be invested in helping people. This is who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the call. But the assignment is different than the call. The assignment changes from season to season. So the assignment might be there's a particular church that you're assigned to, or a region or a people group that you're assigned to. And then, like Daniel, think about Daniel in the Old Testament, right? Called as a prophet, but his assignment shifts from king to king, seasons of obscurity, anonymity. And if he gets caught up in, well, this is my call versus how do I understand the assignment? Those are two different things. And so being a pastor is a lifetime call, but it's not a lifetime assignment. And the assignment is much more, okay, I've got to learn to be to how to pivot with the assignment changing, because God can go, okay, I need you to go here.
Yep.
I need you to go here. I need you to do this now. But the way that's expressed, the call on your life to pastor people, that doesn't change. But the assignment definitely changes. So I hope that makes sense. And it can help to differentiate the two. Am I called to be a pastor of this particular local church? No, I'm assigned to it, and I'm called as a son of God to express his character through pastoral concern for the people. And ultimately, I mean, realistically, great to see Alex on.
Hey, Alex.
And Justin, yes. Ultimately, the call on your life is to love God and be loved by God. That's and now that's expressed in different nuances, right? But that's really the call on your life. It's not to be a pastor or be a prophet or be an evangelist. The call is to love God and be loved by God. And how I express that could be very evangelistic. It could be very pastoral. It could be very prophetic. The assignment then is, okay, go do this here because we have a union we're being led from.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm moving Josh on, you guys.
Yep. Good.
We're going to do dreams now for a bit.
Keep me on track.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a pretty cool dream. And I think you can do this one quickly. So I'm going to see how quickly.
Yeah, I already saw this one. It's a good one.
So she had this dream on August 23rd, so recently. She calls it frozen ice. She says, I was walking on frozen water. I could see through under the ice. There were a lot of frozen black cats and black crows under the ice. Some of them were still alive and trying to get out. Intuitively, I knew that I was to remove them, not to rescue them.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's a great dream.
Yeah,
it really is.
So metaphors, understand, black cats, black crows, metaphors, not Not about killing animals. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. And they represent I think the black cats and the black crows represent a kind of pseudo spirituality that people adopt, right? They're superstitious, and there's all kinds of thoughts about a black crow and a black cat.
Right.
You cross a black cat, you got bad luck for 7 years, all this stuff, right? Black crows represent death and chaos.
Why do
And
we
so
call it a murder of crows?
there's all this superstition, right?
Right.
And false spiritual / religious beliefs about life, the universe, and how everything works.
And it's under frozen water.
It's under frozen water. Some of these animals are still alive.
The spirit part.
Yeah. Right. Some are still alive. Yeah, exactly. It's spiritual, right? Now, Karen is not subject to this. She's not under the ice.
She's walking over it.
She's walking
over seeing it. She's aware of it.
But she can see the problem, right? That people struggle with. This kind of pseudo spirituality, this kind of if I do this, it means this, right? It's in a way, it's very legalistic, right? If a black cat walks in front of me, I got 7 years of bad luck. I can't control it. It just happens to me. And so she's seeing how these kind of beliefs keep people trapped. But thus they're stuck under the ice and they can't get out. And so she sees that very clearly, right? I can see people struggle with these kind of beliefs, these kind of mindsets. But she realizes she's not to rescue them, she's to remove them. That's an interesting distinction there. She realizes that she's not to rescue them, but she's to remove them. So, that is, if you remove them, they're still encased in ice, right? Rescue them means you get down into the dirty and break everything apart for them. No, you're to create space for them to get out, but you're not responsible for their recovery. So I have one of my friends, he says, rescue and redemption are two different things. And so you are just to help them see what they're to do.
Yeah. It's good.
Anything to add, Dan?
No, I think you did a good job. You got to it?
Yes.
Good job, Joshy.
Yes, good. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, I saw a restaurant last night as I was driving along.
Yep.
Called Saucy's. Just so you know.
That's what my now the oldest niece at that time, the youngest, she used to call me Sauce. She couldn't say Josh, so I was Uncle Sauce. Yeah, well, there you go. So I hope that makes sense, Karen. That you're called to help redeem people, which gives them space to work out their process, but you don't need to rescue them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Susan had a dream.
All right.
She shared. So Susan says, I had a strange dream of walking into a Walmart. See, I just don't go into Walmarts. Walking into
only one of the only places we can go here in our small town. So
Teresa says to me, do you want to go to Walmart with me? Absolutely not. All right. I had a strange dream of walking into a Walmart that was painted all beige as I walked along. I thought, yuck.
There you go. Right there.
Exactly. See, I like it. I like it so far. Good dream so far. And then some of it began to have light green or blue. I was with my sister Debbie, and she went one way and I went another. Strange how she shows up in my dreams even though we barely speak or see one another.
Quick question before you read the rest.
Yes.
So Susan can answer this is how does the light green or blue, are you happy with that in the dream? Do you go, oh, is it like it's changing to a more nuanced color? Or are you thinking still yuck? Or you're going, oh, great, it's starting to change. So
yeah. So has it become more? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Good.
Yeah, because it could be like as gross green and blue, or is it like, oh, it's starting to actually become nicer?
Yeah. All right. Suddenly, I was outside, up high in the sky, singing into a microphone. It was like a big outdoor stadium, but I was so nervous. But I did it, and I heard folks cheering. I went home and a neighbor invited me to her home to clean and work for her. Everything was terrible, full of mud or poop, and I said, "No, I know who you are, and I'm not working for you again. No way." The dream ended as I left that
This
house.
is basically the same as Karen's dream.
Yeah.
So
All right. Let me get. Let's do this because we've got another scene here.
oh, there's another. Okay.
That's
All
the
right.
scene. No. I just mean that
Oh,
there's
I
three
see what you
scenes.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're
It is,
connected, but they're
you
three
know,
scenes.
in a
Okay.
way, it's like it's kind of similar to
Yeah.
Karen's dream, right? I love how at the end she sets this boundary up. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, so essentially this first part, right? The Walmart being the I, I kind of I'm gonna read into Walmart being Susan's involvement in church, the structure of church.
Think
Walmart
so.
being
Yeah.
what it's the place where you get all your answers,
Yeah.
right? That is, and she's with her sister, right? She's with family,
Yeah.
um, and she's going, man, this place she just doesn't have
It's
it.
drab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
drab,
just
right?
boring.
It's boring. But she's starting to see, hey, there's some changes being made
Yeah.
that are starting to brighten things up. Oh, okay. Well, I've got some hope, right?
Yeah.
And it's the one stop. We're gonna fix all of your needs, right? And that's when anyway. Um and So there's then within the context of seeing, oh my goodness, maybe there's some hope yet, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to change, right? In the context of immediately um and there's been you're going one way, your sister's going another way, so there's been some directional shifts in your life, right? There's a very particular way of talking. I
Yeah.
went one way, she went another way.
Right.
So in the context of that, and then this scene where all of a sudden you're up high in the sky singing into a microphone. You're nervous to do it in front of people. And then juxtaposed with going into someone's house and seeing all their filth and going, yeah, no, I'm not doing that, right? That's not working with you again. I've been there before.
Yeah.
I don't want
I've
to do
seen
that.
this kind of
Right.
filth.
I've
I'm
seen
not
that.
doing that
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Exactly. So this whole the second scene is the second and third scene are explaining the transformation of the first scene of the colors. Is okay, if I'm up high and I'm doing the thing I'm called to do, I'm speaking to people, I'm bringing hope to people.
Mhm.
I might not be totally comfortable in that position, right? I'm nervous, but I do it and it's
Yeah.
appreciated and accepted, right? When I see myself in that light, great. I'm having great impact and people are impacted.
Right.
When I see myself as the person who's going to get into the nitty-gritty of someone's life and help them change everything around, and I try and do that, it's way too messy. That's not what I'm called to do. That's not what I'm made to do. I got to set a boundary. I've tried to do that before and it just doesn't turn out well, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so okay, I think the first stream going, I've gone a different direction than some of the other people in my life, and I'm starting to see some redemption in how I see this corporate, this bigger structure, right? And that has to do with
Things seem to be making more that
yeah,
it's getting a little more colorful, a little more
yeah,
functional. Yeah.
when I fly high and speak into people's lives, I have great impact. When I try and get directly involved and change everything, I don't have the impact that I would have. So this is your call, this isn't your call. And some of the difficulty with that is that, again, we're talking about leadership and expressing the nuances of leadership. Susan, sometimes in that corporate structure, if you're called into leadership, it means you've got to go into the house and clean up the poop.
Yeah.
And so that's what's put upon you as a leader is, well, that's what the expectation of a leader is. Some leaders are really good at that. Some aren't called to do that. And so you're finding a distinction between those things. This is what I'm actually called to do. I'm flying high and I'm doing the thing I'm called to do versus this. And it's helping me to see, hey, this place isn't so drab after all. Actually, there's some hope. There's some hope here. So
Yeah. Good dream.
yeah, this is a great dream. Right. And in a way I say it's like Karen's dream because she's you don't rescue them, just get them out of the ice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to get involved in the nitty-gritty of everything. Some people are called to do that. My wife actually is very good at doing that with people, of sitting down and helping them work through the junk of their life. That's something she's really good at. She's really, really good at. But not everybody is good at that. Not everybody's called to do
So
that.
what Josh is saying to you is that she's good at it. He's not. So
I'm not saying I'm not. It's just something that she's passionate about, and I'm not.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I don't try and get good at it. So, right. It's not a thing that I try and go, oh, I'm going to be really good at doing this. I have other things that I'm really good at doing.
Oh, I just say ignore the blue lines underneath these things.
Oh,
That's just
yeah.
word trying to tell you, hey, I don't like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So don't. I
But
ignore
Jim,
words.
we like what you're doing. Okay.
Yes, we do. So don't think we're not judging you.
Yeah.
On
That's
this.
right.
That's
word.
That's trying to judge you, and we're just using it as a functional piece of software. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. So Jim had a dream. Here is a dream I had, he says. I typically don't remember my dreams at all. So here we go. I was riding a zero-turn lawnmower. I do like those. With my daughter going down the road when I came to my old church from where I was a kid. There were several pieces of cannons laying in the road, and there were workers moving the cars around. The cannons, I'm guessing. There were workers moving the cannons around, not the cans. I had to swerve to miss a hole in the road, and some workers helped me turn as I passed the cannons. I could see there were lots and lots of people. There are some outdoor festivals going on. I went down the road a little bit and looked down the hill and realized that I would not be able to get my mower down, so I didn't know what I should do. So
Right.
you're not mowing lawns, you're using the lawnmower as a vehicle to get you in places on this
Yeah.
trip.
Were you looking for lawns to mow eventually? Was there a
I doubt
reason
it.
why? And what is your lawnmower?
So you just don't know the South, Josh.
Yeah, well, I don't know what a zero-turn lawnmower is. So
Don't worry about it.
okay, well, you're gonna have to interpret this one then.
You're fine. It doesn't. At the zero to just stay with the riding lawnmower. Okay, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's
Just
a
turns
ride-on
nice and
lawnmower.
sharp.
Okay, doesn't make sense. If it's zero turn, it means it doesn't turn.
It's the kind of lawnmower that it is.
Yeah, I understand. Okay,
Don't worry about the zero turn.
Do you have a zero-turn lawnmower, Jim? Was it your actual lawnmower that I'm assuming, like a good person with a ride-on lawnmower probably really appreciates their ride-on lawnmower.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a cannon. Like a cannon that would shoot cannonballs, right? Is that what, Jim? I'm assuming that's what it meant by that. Is that they're pieces of cannons that would shoot. Yeah, it's a bad boy grape mower. Said like you're a masculine man. I like that, Jim. Yeah. Yeah, they would shoot cannonballs. Yeah, so that's what he means, Karen. That's what I thought. And there's workers moving the cannons around, and you have to swerve to miss a hole in the road. So workers are helping you as you pass the cannons, right? So I love this. You're going down the road where your old church was from when you were a kid. We talk about this, right? When you have a dream where you're back in a place from your childhood, usually the dream is addressing things that are coming up from your childhood.
Yeah.
That's what the dream is, right? So you're on the road trying to navigate down the road. You're trying to navigate some things that have come up and arisen from your childhood, right?
Because he also has his daughter on.
Yeah. And so it's
like a double thing here.
Exactly. How is this is impacting how I raise my kids and how I walk with my kids down
Right.
this, right? That's the context, right? He's with his daughter, so it's going to impact the relationship with his children. And I'm navigating some things. Old church road would be old spiritual beliefs that I have that have lingered into adulthood from childhood. That's what that would mean, right? I'm navigating down this road.
Yeah.
And so a canon is something that makes it's explosive, right?
That's
And
destructive too.
it's destructive, it's explosive, it's full of power, but it's unwieldy. When you shoot a cannon, it's just the whole point of the cannon is just to schmo a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. It's not nuanced at all in how it is expressed. No. The power of it is expressed. Right.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing is there's pieces of this all over the road, and it's impacting my ability to go straight. But I'm recognizing workers, which would be heavenly help, are helping. They're starting to get the stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. So what are the canons? The canons probably, I'm going to guess, Jim, is there a bit of some traditional Pentecostal stuff in your background? I'm wondering that based on it, because it's like this explosion of power. It's got to be big. It's got to be huge. It's got to be explosive. It's got to be loud. And
also there's a play on words here too.
Well, canon as in the church canon,
as in the structure of what we believe.
Yeah. Yes.
As opposed to, so yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Pentecostal,
I think.
Yeah. So you're starting to see how, there's canons also, or there's a wordplay there. I thought about that too as well, which talk about the canons in the church history are expressing the things that we believe about our faith, about Christianity, about Jesus. So those things have been disassembled, right? They're no longer being expressed in the same way, but there are vestiges of them impacting your journey.
Exactly. They're still there.
Right? They're still there.
To move along.
But the Father's showing you he's sent some help along the way to uncover and remove some of those things, right? That's the workers. They're helping me around. They're moving things. There's still some things you got to navigate that you're still, hey, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. I thought that, right? You're uncovering ways of believing and seeing that probably have impacted your journey since you were a child.
Yep.
And as you passed the canons, right, and so Alex, that's really good. A canon being a thought process about faith, life, and Jesus. Yeah. So they've been disassembled. They've stood in the way, but God's going, let's clean this stuff up and let's help you navigate through it. Right.
And I love this part here. There are some outdoor festivals going on. He's not getting to them yet. He's trying to find a way to get there. To the places of celebration and enjoyment.
Yeah. And this is where it is. It's like I can see where I want to go, and I've gotten through a lot of what I needed to get through that I've processed that happened to me from back then, or thought process I've brought in there. And now I'm going, I can see the destination and I know what I've come through, but I don't quite know what to do now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where, and the dream is going, in a way, that's okay. Right. This is just where you're at. This is a dream that doesn't have there's no rosy ending in that sense, but there's no bad ending. It's just going, okay, I've processed all this old stuff. I can see where I want to go, but I just don't know how to get there yet.
And you haven't gotten there in a traditional way, but you've gotten there in a practical way. You've been on the lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's not how you normally get from one place to another, but it'll get you there.
Yeah.
It's not traditional.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's not a normal way of getting there. That's right. Yeah. But it's
your way. It's your way.
And it's Jim's, the lawnmower probably also represents in a way, a retreat, right? It's like kind of a place of solace where you can be with yourself, like, right?
Hey, I'm on the mower.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Like yesterday, I was out mowing my lawn on my riding mower, has
Right.
my earbuds in. I'm just listening to some great music. Well,
Yeah. And it's interesting that your daughter's with you, right? Because there's people around you that are close to you that are seeing the process and seeing the journey, and they're part of it. They're part of
yeah,
processing
and
it.
it's affecting them, but
And
and
it's
in a good
affecting
way.
them. Yeah, exactly. I can see where I want to go, but I'm not quite sure how to get there yet. That's like a great place to be, in fact,
Yeah.
right? It's not necessarily always a comfortable place to be, but it's a great place to be. I can see where I've been and I don't want to go back there. I can see where I'm going. I don't quite know how to get there. Well, good. When you're following God, um, it's a good sign when you're in over your head because it means you can't do it yourself, and it requires a great deal of faith.
Yeah.
And that's when, yeah, mowing is a private place. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that's encouraging to you, Jim. It's okay if you going. I don't know how to get to the next part, but you didn't even know how to get through the first part. God sent workers anyway. So yeah, you've processed a lot, and He's getting you there.
Yeah. All right. Nancy's got a dream within a dream. So, and there'll be in two parts here.
Okay.
Nancy, I'm assuming you're still on here. Oh, by the way, Noah sent me a message about wanting to get connecting on the book discussion, Living from the Heart Jesus Gave
Great.
You.
Yeah.
So if anybody else wants to do that, feel free to do so.
Yeah, you can rewind and look earlier. We were talking about hosting a book club discussion or book discussion group about some inner healing resources
Right.
and just
And
spiritual
maturity and growth. Yeah.
And Justin, we by the way, Justin, we'd love I would love to meet up in Orange County with you, Dad, and do some classes on prophetic dreams. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
So,
it'd be good.
Let's make it happen, Justin.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So Nancy says, I had a dream within a dream. So a dream within a dream is an interesting thing. We'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah. In the dream, I saw two men standing at the end of what looked to be two tunnels, or like watching through binoculars.
Okay.
So when she says in the dream, I'm thinking this is the center part. This is
so you saw like this. Like this, you're watching through two binoculars and you see a man at the end of each one of the binoculars. That's kind of what you're saying. And that was the in the dream part.
Yeah. At the end of what looked to be two tunnels. Yes. Like this. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and then she says, over both of their heads were the icon G. After I woke up from the dream, so she's still in a dream.
Right.
She's woken up from the inside dream. I explained to my friend that the G stood for Freemasonry. If you look at a Freemasonry thing, it does it. And after we tried to escape danger. Or after we tried to escape danger, she woke up fully.
Well, yeah. What was the
danger?
What was the danger? Yeah.
Well, the danger was probably the Freemasonry. I'm assuming that there was something that would entrap them into practices or some sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you can elaborate on that, Nancy.
Was it just a vague, oh, we're in trouble and now we need to escape it? Or, oh, like it's a person coming after you, but you can't really remember that part. So there was some
associated with the Freemasonry thing, but not necessarily.
So the dream, before the dream and the dream, is that you're with your friend, and then in the dream you have a dream and you see two men either like through binoculars at the end of a tunnel, and you see the word G, letter G over them. And then
she just sees two men in the tunnel.
Yeah,
and
two men
in the next part.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. Over both their heads was the word letter. Was the icon?
Was the icon G?
Yeah.
And then you're in your dream after you woke up from the dream into another dream, and you explain to your friend that the G stands for Freemasonry.
So you understood that Freemasonry was the issue.
Yeah. And there was some sense of danger. Maybe someone's coming to get you, and you were escaping that danger when you woke up. I don't know, Dad. What do you think?
Well, I would first of all ask Nancy about her uh, associations with Freemasonry.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, some people have no connection whatsoever to it. Some people do and find it to be very. Um, I mean, the tenets of what are the belief systems and the structure of Freemasonry are concerning, most certainly. So, if we're looking at that, is this just random, or do you have background in history? Do you have family members or yourself that have been okay? So we go. No connection with Freemasonry.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know. What do you think, Josh?
Who is the friend in the dream?
That's a
Do you
good
know?
question.
Do you know the friend? Is it like, or was it just like a person? Like, are you familiar with who? Like, because sometimes there's a person there, and you're like, oh, it's my friend, but then you wake up and you're like, who was that person? So, because you're explaining to the person.
Oh, no, I'm getting it now. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the question. If you know who the friend is,
right?
Because that's who you're explaining what it means to. So yeah, she was not a real friend, but she had a young child, which would be like, so you have a friend who has a young child, right? Like your cell leader. Yeah.
Okay. So you're explaining to them about the danger that you're aware of, that in belief systems and structures, things that can entrap you.
Go ahead, Dad. You got it.
Yeah. So in this dream, you're seeing from a distance, binoculars, you're seeing the implications of being trapped in religious systems, that
which is what Freemasonry would be, just kind of on a generic sense, right?
Yeah, that are not freedom based, but are in one sense you would say they're cultish based.
Well, they create great division. There's two of them. Right?
Well, yeah, entrapment and division, and so you're aware. You're trying to describe. Okay, these things could happen. This is what I see. I see that there's a direction with things that I'm seeing is not healthy.
Right.
It's not freeing. It's not. There's some things we should be concerned about as you're explaining this, and you're becoming aware that there are things that are in the dream. You're saying, I'm becoming aware that there's some things that are not helpful that I'm seeing as I look further out. As I kind of get a bigger picture, try to see things from a distance. I'm seeing that some of the things we're dealing with, that we're addressing right now, are not going to be helpful in the long run.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to start addressing that now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Nancy?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got something for that, Josh?
No, that's good. Insight. And again, it's interesting. She tells her friend, it's not necessarily about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense in the journey I'm on right now. Yeah. Yeah. Because she's got no connection to it in her past. It's not that it's impacting her. Right. It's like, hey, I know this impacts people, and this is how it impacts people.
And see, that's a really good thing when you're dealing with a dream. That's a really good thing to determine. I mean, you could interpret a dream and start going off on Freemasonry,
right?
Because somebody said that. But if you stop and ask the question, do you have a connection to this?
Yeah.
Then and the person, as Nancy says, no, I have none, and my family doesn't have any. Okay, now we need to address it differently. It's not about your own personal entrapment or deception or any of these things, destruction. It's about something you can see that has an impact.
Yeah.
Or an influence at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
the G is over their heads, right? It's the way they're thinking. Yeah. It's something affecting their thought processes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's not on their heart. It's over their head.
And ostensibly, some of the friends that she walks with don't understand the impact
Right.
that the religious systems have had on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's a freeing of the mind.
And the fear that it, the outworking of it is fear.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. It's a real short one. So
Okay.
Rita, how you doing? Good to see you on here again. I was carrying, she said, someone's kitten, maybe a stray. I saw a tick come out of its stomach skin. Ugh. Then a small blue fish, then finally a worm. I said the cat needed to be wormed. I was near someone's pool. All right. Do you know who someone's pool was, by the way?
Yeah, that's a question. That's a good question.
And it's not your kitten, obviously.
Whose kitten it was. Yeah.
She says, well, it's probably maybe a stray, so it's probably not hers.
Message just popped up on my screen, because I've got Facebook over on this monitor here, and it's a picture of Jim's tractor. I love you, Jim. That's amazing. Not tractor, his lawnmower.
It's his zero turn. Don't you mess with him.
He's very proud of that. It's a nice one, man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for sending it to me.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah, now I know. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah.
So no, she doesn't know who
she doesn't know
it is, and no, it's not. She doesn't know whose cat it is.
Yeah.
Right.
One other question for Rita: was the someone's kitten the same person as the someone's pool, or did you not know? Was it two different people, or
well, she says it may be a stray, so yeah. Oh, by the way, Josh, you just been edumacated by the Southerner.
I have. That's right.
Just want you to know that.
Missouri. That's where Jim's at. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. So there's things that she doesn't know if it's the same person or not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which tells us this is more about the way Rita is wired than it is about particular people and circumstances. Right. Because it's nondescript.
So the dream's about the dreamer.
Yeah. The dream's about the dreamer. Right.
Because if we take her out of this dream, what happens? There's no
dream. Yeah. So this is more about how Rita's wired, who she is, and how she functions. And there may be a particular that cat could have. That's funny. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so she's carrying this kitten, a kitten being something that caring for other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Right. The kind of the pets that they have. That's what a kitten is. It's a pet.
And not a mature one either.
Not a mature one. And she recognizes all the problems with the kitten. Right. And this cat needs help. Right. It needs, again, it's like, again, we're going back to Karen's dream. The cat needs to be dewormed.
Yeah.
Right. So it needs medical intervention.
The things that are creating problems needs to be addressed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, Rita doesn't say, I'm going to deworm the cat.
No.
Right. But it needs to be taken to, basically, the implication is take this to a veterinarian, someone who's a professional that can deal with this. Right. Yeah. And so the dream's showing you, Rita, that in the context, you're near someone's pool. So in the context of walking through this, walking alongside of other people in a spiritual community context, that's what being near the pool is, right?
Pool, right?
Yeah, is you're able to see the things that need change and transformation in people's lives.
Yeah.
And right, the pet characteristics they have and how unhelpful they can be. And but
needy they can be, because a little kitten is needy.
Exactly, it's needy. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, kitten is needy. And you're going, this isn't right. This isn't the right way of acting. This isn't the right way of dealing with this.
Something's gotten into this kitten that's harming it. Needs to get out of them.
Yeah. So Rita, in the dream, Rita is showing the dream showing Rita, you have the ability to see them. the capacity to speak into those things, but you're not called to be the healer yourself, right?
You're
We
not the
need to get
dewormer.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not the dewormer. We need to get this. You need some professional care. It could be akin to being able to say to someone, hey, you've been doing this, this, and this, and this. I think you probably need some counseling. You probably need some pastoral help. You need some inner healing. The ability to speak into people's lives in that sense and get them connected with the resources they need to be connected with.
Right.
So,
because you're near the resources, you're near someone's pool.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So you care for people in that sense, right? The kitten, but in a way that says, you probably need to go get this checked out.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and what this dream says to you is, kind of the question it helps to answer is, am I doing enough for people?
Right.
Am I doing enough just helping them get to the place they need to be, or should I be doing more? And the dream says, your recognition of what's the problem and helping people find the right solution is enough.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So stop beating yourself up, Rita.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We won't beat you up either.
No, we won't. Yeah.
How are we doing here? Well,
I've well, let's say I have maybe 30 more seconds.
Oh, okay. All
so
right. I think that's about it then. We have a Tammy's dream, but that'll take a little bit longer.
Okay.
To address. There's quite a few questions. Tammy, it's a good dream, but we do need to. We have several questions to ask on that one, so we won't be able to get to it. Sorry about that.
This. I'll just Justin. Have a chat. Maybe have a chat with some of your pastor friends down there, and have them shoot my dad or I a message, because we'd be happy to chat about that. So there's that, and I think Berta said she wanted the same. So Berta, I know your pastors. Tell them to give me a call. So I was just actually, Berta, just as a side note, I was just showing Aaron the study notes that Desiree put out for your women's Bible study. I thought, it looks like some good stuff you guys are going through. So yeah, it'd be good to see all of you guys.
Okay, we can do one real short dream and then you're good.
Yeah, good.
Kamika, this is a short dream. So we have a quick question. So we need you to get to it. Is your grandma alive? And your dad? Is everybody in this dream still with you?
That's a great question.
And that's pretty much. And is there a significance for you of the date March 2nd? Like, is it your birthday or something like that? Okay. No, they're not alive. Okay. All right. Not with her. Both have passed. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what about March 2nd? Anything significant about that date?
And were you happy with the mannequin head?
No significance. Okay.
Were you happy with the mannequin head? Were you upset with the mannequin head? And did you have this dream before or after March 2nd?
No, not at all. Okay.
Not at all. As in,
okay. She was happy with it. Okay. Yeah.
No significance, not at all. She was happy with the mannequin head.
Okay.
And yeah, did you have it when you dreamt? Was it before March 2nd or was it more? Was it recent?
Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So mom, grandma, and dad are both gone.
Oh, just 2 nights ago. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
So.
Oh, Zothelia, it's good to see
you. Good to see you. So what do you think, Josh? She's at her grandmother's house. So let me just read it. I dreamt I was at my grandma's house. I heard my dad call my name. It was a package for me, dated March 2nd. It was a mannequin head.
Right.
Okay. So March 2nd showed very clear. So March 2nd is 3/2.
Yeah.
March is an interesting concept. What do we, when we march, it's the,
right.
We get going, we get moving forward. So just play on words
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Well, in a way, it's like I don't have the whole thing. I know that.
Mm.
But she's happy, peaceful, all of that, right? Finding the mannequin head. Because her dad calls her and she discovers a package for her.
Right.
So those are the things that stand out to me about this, especially in the fact that she's just had this dream, is that Kamika,
We're
Kamika,
sorry if we're butchering your name.
yeah, we probably are. Yeah,
Apologize.
is in the dream would say in the season that you're in, right? And maybe it's that there's a this is September, so maybe there's a 6 to 7 month window, right?
Yeah.
You're in a time frame, right? You're discovering things in you're discovering the call of God on your life as it flows from your family, because you've got 3 generations there: grandma,
Right.
dad, you, right? Your dad calls your name, and you're discovering what's been left to you, right?
Mhm.
That's in a broad sense, right? Looking at the dream, that's what the dream's talking about, is you're seeing the call on your life and the things that have been given to you to accomplish that call. And so then the question is, and this is where I'm not clear, what March 2nd mean and what the mannequin head means. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, Dan. I've been racking my brain trying to think of it, and I'm just not coming up with anything.
Well, okay, so a mannequin is made to look like a human so that we can represent things. A mannequin, we're going to put clothes on it or do this or that other thing, so that we can see things that could be functional for us and then apply them. So if I see clothing on a mannequin, I can look at it and say, huh, okay, that would work for me. I could wear that.
Yeah.
Um, and so a mannequin is something we use to help us see what could be functional for us, like in an experimental sort of a way, rather than so it's like step one. Step one is, let's try it like this. Okay, that works. Let me go ahead and apply it for real.
Right.
And so a smiling mannequin head, which is just so it's just the head, is and it's peaceful, is about learning to put into practice the things that are from your past, that flow from your family. It's learning to experiment with those things so that you can make them work in real life. Practicing. Right. So this is like practicing the things that you need to practice so that you can actually apply it when you get outside of the house.
There you go.
And March 2nd there's going to be a time when you're going to move forward in this thing.
Right. March.
And it's coming soon. It's speeding up. It's the 2nd. And you've been willing to kind of not engage with those things that are in your heart to do, but the time is coming where it's going to speed up for you. And it's okay to practice, but you're going to need to get ready to do the real thing.
Yeah, March. I like what Karen said, and Ingrid. March 2 is 2 words.
Yeah.
And so it's March to words, right? March towards would be there's a word play there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. Good. Well, that resonates with Kamika, so we're happy about that.
Or is it Kamika? I'm thinking Kamika.
Yeah, Kamika. Yeah.
I like that better, but I may be wrong. So well, thank you guys. We really appreciated y'all jumping on.
That's right.
And we really appreciated the picture of the tractor, the lawnmower.
Yeah, the lawnmower. Thank you, Jim. That's right.
Yep, I'm right. See, look, cool. I'm right.
Yeah, Dad is right. Dad is always right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. If you consider donating to the ministry, that's always helpful with all the stuff that we look to accomplish. And so I'll put a link there in the comments, and take a look at that if the Lord leads you.
Yeah, and if you didn't hear us talking about doing a discussion group on the book Living from the Heart Jesus Gave You. Jump to the front to the beginning of this, and we talked about it for about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And just private message me, or if you have my email address, send me an email, and we'll get together and put somewhere we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's right. I saw, by the way, Casey Reeves on there said she's interested. I'd love to know more about the inner healing resources. So
yeah.
Casey, here actually with that, Casey, I'll also send a message to my dad. He's gonna be doing this book club that'll talk about spiritual maturity. But Casey, here's a link to our and this is also in the description of the video, by the way, but here's a link to our page that talks about the inner healing stuff that we offer. And on there, you can book a consultation with my wife, and she'll sit down with you. So, and talk about whether it's a good thing for you or not, and recommend resources for you. So
yeah, Lean, it'll be a Zoom class.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have people locally, we'll do it. We might do it both ways, or we'll see. But at the very least, it'll be a Zoom class.
Yeah.
More good discussion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for jumping in. We always appreciate you. Your dreams are awesome. Right. Very, very cool dreams we got to take a look at today. It's an honor for us to actually be able to walk through your dreams with you, and that you trust us with them. So thank you for that.
That's right.
We're always humbled by seeing these beautiful dreams you give us.
That's right.
And we're just going to pray over you. May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Yeah.
Make his face to shine on you a lot. May you know his presence, his comfort, his joy, and may your dreams kick up in phenomenal ways. And we ask those things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
We will see you guys.
Until next time.